Do you know what a coincidence is?
No, what's that?
A coincidence is when something happens that was not planned or arranged by anyone, but it seems like it was planned. I want to tell you a story about King Xerxes, the king of Persia. The Persian people don't believe in God, and they were enemies of the Jews. Xerxes wanted a new queen, so he sends out an order for the most beautiful girls to be brought to the palace so that he could pick a new wife. Mordecai's cousin, Esther, was a beautiful Jewish girl. Of all the hundreds of girls in the kingdom, Xerxes picked Esther, and she became queen.
Wow, what a coincidence!
No, God was always working. Soon after, Mordecai overheard two people plotting to kill the king. He told Esther, and the king's life was saved. Of all the people that could have overheard that conversation, Mordecai did.
Wow, what a coincidence!
No, God was always working. Xerxes had an official named Haman. It was a rule that when he walked down the street, everyone must bow down to him, but Mordecai refused. He knew that God is the only one worthy to be bowed to. Haman became so angry that he convinced Xerxes to make a law to have all the Jewish people killed.
Oh no, now what?
Don't worry, God was always working. Mordecai told Esther to go to the king and beg for mercy. Esther was so scared because you would get killed if you just went to the king uninvited.
Oh no, now what?
Don't worry, God was always working. Mordecai sent Esther a message telling her perhaps she had become queen for exactly this reason, to save her people.
Wow, what a coincidence!
No, God was always working. Esther went to the king. She invited him and Haman for dinner the next night. There she would ask him to save her people. That night King Xerxes couldn't sleep, so he asked that the king's chronicles be read to him. That's like the king's diary. It just so happened that they read to the king about the time when Mordecai overheard the plot to kill the king and saved his life.
Wow, what a coincidence!
No, God was always working. When the king saw Haman and asked him, "What should be done to someone I want to honor?" Xerxes was talking about honoring Mordecai, but Haman thought the king was talking about him. So Haman told him to let him be led through the city on the king's horse, wearing the king's robes, with everyone shouting how great he is. "Go at once," the king said. "Fetch the robe and the horse and give it to Mordecai."
Wow, what a coincidence!
No, God was always working. At dinner, Esther bravely told the king that she was Jewish and asked him to spare her life and her people. Xerxes was so angry that he ordered Haman to be put to death. God had saved the Jewish people.
Wow! So through all the different parts of the story, it's so clear to see. God was always working. It was never a coincidence.
And even in our lives, God is always working and is always there no matter what. Nothing catches God by surprise. Nothing is out of his control.